Hey.
Hey,
Hey.
what's happening, everybody? I feel like I've been watching YouTube for an hour or so. Oh, I was on Ray's show. That's right.
Hope everyone had a nice little restroom break.
Yeah, I did that myself between shows.
You have to. You have to take that break. We're old people now, so
Yeah, I
go
was a little
often.
I was a little rude on Ray's show when I first got on there. I was still eating my dinner and I wanted to get it down before we got too far into the show. And then when I finished eating the last bite, Ray said, "Well, I'll have to put you in the back room. I need to bring some other people in." I was like, "All right,
That's good.
that's good." Well, I was done at that point, but yeah,
um,
I'm sitting at the hotel. Made it 520 miles today from North Palm Beach, and I'm now in Santee, South Carolina, at a true hotel right off Interstate 95, which I can hear out my window. I wish I had the other side of the building, but I only have about 380 miles to go. So my whole trip from where I was at is going to be about 1,000 miles. But tomorrow I'll finish that up with about 6 more hours of driving, and I'll be home by right after lunch, more than likely.
that's a good thing. Good thing, especially on a Friday.
Yeah, if I was like Rodney Bell or Rick Williamson or something, I'd probably get up at 2 or 3 in the morning. I could be home by breakfast, but I'm not.
Yep.
I'm not doing that.
Um, well, real quick, we got a bunch of people.
I
Wow.
see that, man. We got a house, full house. Looks
Uh,
like 19 watching from what I can tell.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Um, Ronnie Bell said he couldn't stay. But brother Rodney, man, anybody deserves an award, you did most certainly. I had tears coming out of my eyes, and I still do. I can still picture it, and
Yeah,
anybody deserves an award, he did. That's for sure.
yeah.
Giggles, what's up? I'm sorry, man. God, I would get him started, and I go, "Why did I do that?" But that's my nature.
Hmm.
I like laughing, and
Well,
laughing is
so does TJ. Giggles. He
so is
does
TJ,
too.
and to the point of are we going to have to carry you to the hospital, or because it
That's
looks like
right.
you're having a heart attack?
It's
So,
all. It's
and
all fun.
he's probably dying right now.
He's probably laughing. We got him
uh,
started.
Alex, what's up, brother? That was a
Everything.
fun chase.
Yeah.
All the 2 or 3 nights. Especially the last night. Everything was focusing in and getting together, and we had a great time in the parking lot. That's for sure. AZ Drone Dude, Dominic Northside. Good day, sir. How you doing? Let's see. Jim, 2 Niner Whiskey. Hello. John Flynn. Can't say enough. Thank you. Most definitely, brother. That was another tearjerker. There was a lot of emotions going on
Yeah.
over the weekend.
Kind of got me a couple of times as well.
Yeah, it was a great weekend. I tell you, I, this one tops out one as one of the best.
I think
Um,
so. The weather cooperated. We had
yeah, except
a
for the
lot of good.
wind.
Yep, the wind. We got
and
lucky though. Early in the week, I was there and some other folks, and boy, we got some rain, some downpours, horizontal rains, and winds, and it was back and forth, and then Friday it kind of just all settled down, and the weekend was beautiful. I mean, little windy like it always is at Jensen Beach Causeway Park, but I mean that's always the case. We're on the intercoastal there, and that's pretty much the way it is all the time. I think 10, 20 mile an hour winds.
every drone I ever flew handled it great, except for the Neo two. Um,
Yeah. Not funny, not funny.
Funny, not funny, but it's wow. I can't say enough for this community. Um, I I had a train hobby when in my younger years, and it was never like this community. Never. This is a great community. Chris Hope is in the house. Digital Demon, I will I'll do it in a second. And it's done. Gator Drone, what's up? Who's Gator Drone? Can't remember.
Um, oh
Mike?
shoot, my mind just went blank. Um, gosh, man, my mind just went blank on that. Sorry, put your first name in there, Gator Drone.
Johnny Drone Flyer. Bob Casey just popped in there. How you doing, sir? I think FJ11 Mark.
Yeah.
Um, phone in a car park. I wouldn't advise never own to have a phone in a car. Okay, I gotta remember that one. Ronnie, God bless America. Hello, sir. I
Yeah.
enjoyed seeing you and your wife there, and we hung out for a little bit and went down to the beach at Dolman, and it was the waves were kicking all weekend long
Oh yeah.
in
Yeah.
certain areas
They were some high waves out there. I walked out to the beach. I mean, I would dare say 10-foot waves at times.
at least
They,
at
they were
least,
they were
and
up
I've
there.
got some wave action going on and everything. Um, it, it was a real good wave action.
How you doing, Captain Ray?
Dale,
Yep,
what's
and
up?
Dale.
I'm gonna do you there, sir.
I will say you were just mentioning Ronnie, God bless America. And, I just rode through their area not a few hours ago, coming up 95 before I got up here. I think they're close to Savannah.
Savannah.
So
Yeah,
yep, and
it's
wish
I'm envious of them.
yeah, nice area, very nice area. I've been there with my wife a couple of times. We stayed there for a vacation one time. We loved it.
Captain Ray Kelly's in the house. Hello, sir.
Yep.
Thank you once again for putting on this sixth annual.
Hmm.
And I know Captain Ray's been kind of his back's been bugging him and everything, and man, he hung in there along with all of us. I mean,
Oh yeah,
he was having a great time too.
yeah,
It,
absolutely.
I one more time, I can't say enough. It just a great weekend. It was good to see everyone. Um, Lots of great times and everything. But let's get to 3D printing talk.
Yep, let's do it. We
Um,
got we got somebody special in the back room.
yes, we do. Yes, we do. He owns several rolls of filament. He I am envious of his yeah, what's that thing called? The top.
No, the AMS unit.
Yeah, the AMS. I want to say AFS. AMS because he has a double AMS.
Oh yeah. Hey,
Captain
Captain
Joe
Joe.
America.
Yep, welcome.
Welcome,
Glad
sir.
glad we finally got you on here.
There you go.
Nope, there it is. We got
Yep, he had to
Yeah,
audio.
I
touch
had
the
my mic
mic.
turned off, so if I started sneezing or yelling at the dogs, you didn't hear it.
Well, I turned mine off because I was farting earlier, but that's another story.
Yeah, that's the difference in the food. So how y'all been?
Been good, been good. We
Good.
missed you. We missed you at South Florida Drone Meetup. You got to
Hey,
get
I
down.
say I'm going next year.
Are
Johnny
you?
says I'm gonna go when he grows hair, but it's like
Well,
Well,
that's
we
why
look
he
we
wears a toboggan.
it's as you probably saw and see in videos and Captain Ray's show earlier. Just it's a great time. It's great camaraderie.
camaraderie. Yeah,
Ugh, I can't say it.
that's
And
Marine Corps.
fellowship.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it's just like big family, but for the most part, you get along with everybody. So that's a little bit different than your family, but there's
I don't know,
always somebody.
you got a couple of guys like Mark Fisher. I don't know if I get along with. And I
He,
probably have to deal with him.
yeah. Well, there's just great people all around the community, and Philip, you highlighted some of what happened, with Rodney and we had a couple of lost drones. Well, yours went in the water. We had a copter go in the water, a pretty expensive copter, I think, and accidental hit of the switch to go from
Oh yeah.
hover to manual, I think it was. And then Jay Santiago had his Mini 5 Pro up, and we think the wind got a hold of it because he couldn't bring it back. He would push the stick forward and it would go backwards. He'd pull the stick backwards, it would go more backwards, and his battery was getting ate up quickly. But yep, we other than that, I mean, it was a great weekend. Yeah, just a few little mishaps there.
Yeah, was that a flyaway?
I don't know if that would be considered a flyaway or
No, I
not, but
mean he didn't get it back though. It just kept going, right?
oh
He
yeah,
didn't get it
well,
back.
he did bring it down elevation closer to the treetops. I think 150 feet. He was way up,
Right.
and he got it. And then the thing was going into landing mode because the battery was just depleted. The winds were just draining it, and it landed in some trees in an area where you can't even walk into. It's more like jungle where all those
Right.
trees were. So it won't be retrieved for many years, or until somebody develops that area. But I suspect they won't be developing that area because I think it's marshy, real wet.
Right. Could be a
High.
sanctuary type of thing too.
It could be, yeah, it could be. But of all places it went down, there's no way to get in there. You'd have to have hatchets and all kinds of stuff to get in there, and it probably would have been better to go down in the water. But
Right.
either way,
If it's developed type land instead of dinosaur bones, they go, oh, Mini 5 Pro. I remember these things.
right.
Well, I was
Yeah.
watching the live stream that morning when I heard that Philip lost it. I heard they lost a helicopter, and then I was watching it for a while and I said, "Well, I'm going fly." I wanted to go. I had to go pick up a check somebody owed me, so I went and I said, "I'm going to go out to the Bogfly River because there ought to be kayakers on the river. And I'm going to take the Avada 2 and just do that because I've done it a lot." I get out there, put it up. I saw some kayakers get in, so I had to find out where they were, and they were about 600 feet ahead. So I had to get to them. When I was getting right up to that point, there was a big tree across the thing where it fell. And there's a little river, a little bayou type river. And I'm going into it and I'm seeing all these branches, and all of a sudden I lost all visual.
Uh-oh.
And I lose all this visual feed. And I said, "What did I see last?" And I said, "I was above the tree. I'm good." I said, "Just keep going forward." I said, "I know the drone still got it. I'm just losing the signal." I just kept going, and I could tell that the telemetry was still moving. I looked down and I said, "Okay, don't panic." I said, "You're good." And then I had a 180 slide. As soon as it turned around, I got everything back. And I
Wow.
came back and I said, "Thank you, Lord," about 10 times. But it was the first time I ever lost signal that close.
Yeah, I was like this with the Neo after I lost it. I went, oh
Mhm.
well. At least it was the Neo and not a Mini 5 Pro.
Oh,
Yeah.
it could have been worse.
Yeah, it could have been a lot worse. The winds were
So,
kicking it out there.
oh yeah, big time. So Joe, what have you been printing lately? I know you got a bunch of stuff sitting in front of you.
Oh, I've got a lot of stuff all the time in front of me. The
So
biggest kick I've got going on right now is with Mandeville High School. I went to the football meetings last week, and I only got one of each of these right now to show. It's a like an earring, stud earring, the anchor with an M on it, and then the little anchor stud. I've got
Yeah.
the studs in white and blue, and I had the anchors just in blue like that. And what I did was, there you go, that's better. And then what I did was I brought them to them, and I said, "You want to put them in a skipper shack because they sell them for game days." And she looked at me and she says, "Well, how much?" I said, "How much you gonna sell them for?" And she says, "Well, what does it cost you?" And I said, "I'm not telling you that." I said, "You tell me what you're gonna sell them for, and I'll give you a price." She says, I said, "You think you get 15, 20 like that?" She goes, "I get 30.
what?
And I said, "You get 30 for that?" She goes, "I get 30. Give them to me." And I gave them to him. She went and put them on the table that night. The new parents coming in. First two parents that walked up there bought them for 30 apiece.
Daggone.
She goes, "How many can you have tomorrow night?" I said, "How many you want?" She goes, "Can you get 10? I said, "I brought her 15. She says, "How much?" I said, 15 apiece.
Yeah.
It cost me 23 cents.
Yeah.
So it's like, but it cost me time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
You own the equipment. You cost you time. You got to pay for electricity.
everything
All
else.
your expertise and all
Right.
that. Yep, it comes into play.
So now that's going to be a staple in there. And then I've got a helmet. It's in the back. It's a Mandeville helmet, light box. And 3 or 4 people, we had it up there, and they said, how much? And I said, 40. Like that. I said, but they're special. I got a special order. And I had about 5 people wanted them. She looked at me and she goes, how much? I said, 20. Because it cost me about 5. So I'll make 15 on that and be happy.
Yeah.
But it'll be a special order deal.
Well, it's nice too, because they're going to make some money to put towards the business, right? Or towards the organization.
It goes towards the kids for their food and everything else. And I make money, they make money. One of the newest things that I had was my Peeps Benchy. That I went looking around for a Peeps Benchy and couldn't find it. So I put a Peeps together with a Benchy together and put it out there. And I've got I think I got 16 or 17 downloads on it the first day. So I'm getting points on it from Maker World. And then I came up with an idea. It was actually, I'll give it to Justin, Digital Demon. He said, you ought to make a Swifty Benchy. So I made a Swifty Benchy with Taylor Swift's on it. And that's
I have yet to print that one. I printed the Peep, but I haven't printed that one yet.
I've got one coming out. I've got this one's the one I did do. That's the Part 107 Benchy. It says FA certified, like that. I got that set up. Then I have another one it's on there, but I haven't done it yet because I haven't taken the pictures. But it's a America 250th Benchy, and I'll give y'all the first look at it. It hasn't been out there yet. It's got the Statue of Liberty and everything. What I want to do is I want to print it with all the colors and then stick it out there because you can see the Statue of Liberty and the flag and everything. But to print it with all the colors on it takes about 8 hours.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to do one and then I'll take the pictures and stick it out there.
Nice. Yeah, I'd like to see the one with the color on it.
Play. You know, I'll see something I like and it's funny. I'll print it and then Johnny will say, yeah, I just printed that. Or he'll print something and say, yeah, I printed that too. You know, it's like, it's funny how we're synced like that.
Well, we were talking, it's always, somebody's asked me a number of times how many rolls of filament I have, and it's just a ridiculous number. But how many rolls of filament?
More than me.
How many you got now?
53, 54.
Yeah, okay, that's a lot. That's still a lot. But, oh, man, I don't know how I ended up with so many. And Philip,
I got 18 rolls now.
18.
Yeah. And that was since, when did I pick that up? January?
January, I think.
Yeah. And you gave me 2 rolls.
Yep, 2 rolls. And yeah, it doesn't take long. I mean,
Right.
you realize you need a different color. You run out of one of your colors, you need another roll. Then you buy 2 rolls because you know you're going to have a bunch of orders. Then, for me, sometimes I bought boxes of 4 of the same color of Sunlu. I would buy all blacks, all whites, all blues, and then go through them. I put them in stock, if you will, in my inventory. And now, I've told a couple people out there. I thought I had about 100 or about 80 at one time, and I did an inventory with my wife a couple months back, and ended up having 160 we put on paper or put in a spreadsheet. And then while we were doing that, I'd already had an order for another 12 rolls coming from China or from Temu, and I ended up trying some of their filaments, and they work okay, but they're not as good as Sunlu.
Yeah, I had to look at the chat. Because after I talked about earrings, I figured Johnny was making some comments.
And
He asked me the other day if I was printing high heels to go with them.
Well, let's ask this question. It's a question probably some people would wonder. What software are you using when you're putting some of these things together? Let's just say the Benchy and Taylor Swift, or if you're creating something, what are you using mostly?
The easiest one I could find, Tinkercad.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And it aggravates the hell out of me sometimes when I go to put something in, it's too large.
Yeah.
It only takes up to 25. Then I got to go find a way to down it a little bit and put it in there. Then I think I have it right now. Get it over to make over the into the bamboo, and then when it looks like it's going to print, something's missing on it.
Yeah.
It didn't pick it up right, so I got to go back and tinker and move it a little bit. Well, I found out when you're on a bamboo printer, if you're putting text on there, don't put it below 6. If you put it below 6, you lose the letters,
The 6 being the font size, right?
the font size.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you're like a 5, you're gonna lose a letter somewhere in there, or it's not
Okay.
gonna look right.
Yeah, it doesn't have room for it. Yeah, so it can't make it that small. Now, the only way there is a way to do that, but you have to bring your nozzle size from a point 4 down to a
To
point
2.
2,
Right,
and even then you have limitations.
right. I'm on a 4, and I don't feel like changing it every time. So
Right,
guess what?
right.
I just won't.
Well, and that's another thing to be said about that too. When you go from a point 4 to a point 2, you stand a much higher risk of clogging up that nozzle.
And
Uh,
double the time.
Yep, yep, and double the time. You
Yeah,
don't,
it's
and
everything. So
that's kind of a misnomer too. So if you go up to a point 6 to go with more flow, the time you have to print it slower because it's got to heat up more material. So you really don't gain a whole lot.
Because
mhm,
you're pushing
When
so fast.
Yeah,
You're pushing that filament so fast past that
right.
right.
heat.
So I always tell everybody if you can print it in point 4, just leave it at that. If you need to do a miniature or anything, just move it down to, swap that nozzle out to a point 2. Is a little bit of a pain on certain printers, but you can do it. And just small stuff. Anything, more than an inch, a couple of inches in size, you can just use the point 4.
Right.
Rick's got a question in the chat.
Where is it at? Let's see. There
When I
we go.
run out of the PLA that I have, I should replace it with PETG. Is that correct?
I know what my answer is. What would you say, Captain Joe?
Well, I'm at the point where I think I'm going to. I think I'm gonna start going just to PETG. Once I run out, just put it on. Get it.
Well, I'll answer the same question the same way. And I'll give a whole lot more to it. PLA is fine for just playing around, indoor stuff.
Hmm.
Toys are a little fragile if you're giving them to kids. If you have the right printer, and it can be pretty much any of the Bamboo Lab printers, even the A1 or A1 Mini, excuse me, X1 Carbon, P1S, P2S, etc. You can do PETG just as easily as PLA, but you gain all those other properties. You got higher temperatures, you got UV resistant. It's just as easy to print, but what was the other thing? Higher temperatures, easier to print. It's not brittle. It's a stronger material. So I would highly recommend, Rick, you might have heard me say this before, go to PETG, especially with the printer you have. So, and also I think, they're kind of tit for tat now on price. I would think
They are.
PETG is probably
Very
really
close.
very close to the same price,
Yeah.
and I have not seen any difference in the way they print. PLA,
Maybe a couple of dollars more now.
that could be, but
I think they're really close. 'Cause I was looking at them the other day, and I actually needed to buy some, and I said, do I go that route or do I go PLA? And I went PLA, and I said I should have went the other way.
well, let's say this as well, just to clear the air, and we've talked about this on previous episodes of the show, is that if you have PLA and PETG, they're different temperatures by quite a bit, and they're different materials. They will not stick to each other. There are ways in the slicing softwares, Bamboo's Studio and other slicing softwares, I don't know how it works, where they do a stitching. And what it does is it overlaps. When two dissimilar filaments are touching, it overlaps them and puts a stitching in there. And it seems to work pretty good. I haven't tried it. I can't contest to it, but that's just something to be thinking about. If you do have PLA and PETG, just don't try to run them at the same time in your AMS printer, because
Right.
they're not going to stick together.
Yeah. And also they can create a spaghetti mess.
Oh yeah,
Try to
absolutely,
do that.
absolutely.
So I was printing something different. I was printing the whole thing, and then the little clips. I was printing those in PETG. That was fine because it's separate from the actual project it was working
Right.
on. So it
But
did give
when
me
you
a
get
warning, and of course, it says, "Hey, you got them combined here," and I said, "They ain't gonna matter. Go ahead, print."
But
So
when you have 54 rolls, it's kind of hard to buy 10 rolls, and then you might not have the color again.
Right.
yeah,
It's
That's
like,
yeah.
right.
oh,
That's
geez,
right.
that's where the
Yep.
problem's at.
Yeah, that and also another little tip. If you're going to be doing a big project, make sure you buy multiple rolls of that color at the same time because I bought rolls of filament. Case in point, with this meetup, I had two different greens and they were both called green, but one was lighter than the other and it's from the same manufacturer. So, buy kind of the same lot and you should be pretty good. I've heard a lot of stories about people buying the exact same one and it'll be a different shade. And if you have to change colors in the middle of the print, you might see two different colors,
I'm
of
going to
that.
show you something right now. You see that riser in the back, right?
Let's do that.
With the green, you see the riser in the back, right?
Yep, yep.
So when I printed the two sides, the front and the back, I was doing gray on the bottom section. When I got up near the top into the front, I ran out of gray, so I had to do another gray, and it was a different color.
Uh,
So it was changing the color. And what I wound up doing is, I mean, one of them was a different color than the other one. So I had dark gray and light gray. I was looking at it and I said, no, that's going to bother me for the rest of my life. And I don't want to print this thing again because my mom was like that. That's the one trait from her I wish I didn't have. And I looked at it and I said, I'm gonna live with it. And I looked at it and I said, I hate this. I took both of them, taped them off, brought them outside and spray painted black around the front. And that works. I can live with that because all I see is the black. But it was like, oh, was I mad? But printing that thing up top, that the riser part on top that holds the two AMS, it was 8 plates, and you take the 8 plates, and I did them all in black, and I had 4 rolls of Sunlue black here, so I knew I had enough. And I'm going through it, and you had to buy metal rods to slide through the middle, and they told you the millimeters, and I didn't measure it. I took his word for it, and he said 4 millimeters, and I guarantee it was 3.85. It wasn't 4. And when I started tapping it in, it was a little snug. I said, that's good. It's going to be snug. It's not going anywhere. Got to the 3rd plate, and it cracked in half.
oh,
And when it cracked in half, I just sat down for a while and said, okay, I got to find a different way. I couldn't even get the thing out anymore. It was stuck in there. So I found another platform on the top that took less time to print. And when I put it all together, I didn't like the way it was fitting. It just felt it wasn't sturdy enough. So what I did right across the top strip, I took a piece of PETG because I figured I wanted it harder. And I did that. I glued it and then put screws across like that on it. That will never come apart. I've got everything glued up there, and I've got the 2 AMSs on it, 4 rolls of filament in each. And the only reason it looks like it's got any kind of freaking sag on it is because I made a mistake and I put 2 pieces underneath it, and it's pushing it down a little. So I actually need to take them out because it doesn't matter because it's not going anywhere.
Well, what I'm curious about also is, you got one AMS right here with one hose coming down into the feeder and all that stuff. Now,
Right.
on your double, does your software actually say, hey, you got 2 of them here, you got 8 rolls,
Yeah, it does. It tells me I've got 8 different colors.
and then you got I guess a special, actually a Y or something that takes both?
splitter. Yeah.
Yeah, the splitter on the back. I bought the one through, which I didn't get a splitter. I just bought the one on the back
Oh,
for
the hub.
bamboo.
The hub.
The hub on the back, it holds
Mhm.
4 of them. So I put 2 more up there. I have the places bring 2 more in.
So Philip, the hub will handle each port on the hub is one AMS unit. So you can have up to four of the lines going in the Bowden tubes into that hub, and that gives you 16
Right.
colors. The way the computer of the printer recognizes it is you daisy chain the electronics to each
Yeah, the
other.
electronics go all the way across.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah,
I'll show
once you
you.
plug in, once you daisy chain the next one, it says, hey, I see
Right.
you. And
Yep.
and okay,
Exactly.
that makes
And
sense.
you look at that light box right there. That's the USA drone flyer light box. That's 8 colors. That's why I got the other AMS to print that one thing.
Okay.
That was my main goal. Now I'm using it for everything. As you can see,
When,
I'm running out of room places to put printed stuff.
what if you don't have an 8-roll AMS and you're trying to print something that's 8 colors?
It's going to be very difficult.
Yeah, it'd be difficult. You'd have to stop it and change out each time and everything else. And
But you have to stop it on your own.
Well,
you'd
you
have to
can.
stop it on your own.
Yeah, you can have it set up in the software to stop, but that's going to be ridiculously
Yeah, it's gonna
amount
be
of
tedious.
stops. Yeah, and you know
Right.
that many. It depends on how many changes in each layer. But if you have 800 layers and there's 8 colors changing in every layer, you just do the math. That's how much
Yeah,
poop you're going to have out of that, and that's how many times it's going to. Well, you divide that by 2, and that's how many times it's. Well, you divide that by 4, and that's how many times it's going to stop.
right.
Yeah, so it's not really doable. I think some people have tried it. If you're doing on the other side of that, if you're just changing colors for a single layer, so
Hmm.
not, then that's doable. If you have,
Very doable.
yeah, it's very doable. And there's a lot of things out
Yeah,
there that look
I
really
did this.
cool.
I did this chip a few years ago when I had the anchor mate, and it's 2 sides, right? It's 2 separate ones and glued together. I had the blue, and then it stopped on the white, and all of that was on the blue. So when the white came up, it just went around it. So
Hmm.
it was on there like that. So I didn't have to do anything but change it one time,
Yeah, yeah. There's
and that
hardly
worked
any
out.
poop when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah, that worked out fine. That was with the anchor mate. So I stopped it, changed it, and it printed. It was very easy to do.
So,
Did somebody say poop?
Oh yeah, I have a box of it.
Yep, he melted it down. He got a silicone mold and melted
Yeah.
it down with
Yeah.
a heat gun at that. Not even the oven, a heat gun.
Oh Lord, that's even
Yeah,
worse.
can you imagine?
I
But when
think
you get
the oven
something,
would take it slower and melt it better too.
when you
Okay.
get something like this is a candy corn dragon that had, if I remember right, it had like 180 color changes.
Wow.
You know,
Gee.
180 color changes. And then my daughter-in-law comes in and she looks down at it and she says, "Oh, I love that," and picks it up and starts walking off with it. And I looked at it and I said, "You could have it," because she's my favorite daughter-in-law.
That one came out nice. I like those, just the white tips on that. That's
Right.
pretty
So I
cool.
made it for her. Then overnight I printed me another one. Took like 8.5 hours.
Well, this was 3 color change.
The F bomb.
Oh.
And was the F face down or was it standing up?
Huh?
Was it face down the F or was it was sticking up?
It was sticking up.
So you got to change each layer.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I saw one the other day. I wanted to print, and I looked at it, and it said 10.5 hours, and it was only 1.5 inches tall. And I'm looking at this thing, and it said 385 color changes. I said, "Oh, bitch, no, it ain't happening. I ain't printing. I don't want it."
What's that tower called behind it where it does it makes, make sure it, yeah, I bet you that thing was this high.
It only goes to the same size to the top of the item, so it only been 2 inches tall.
It's supposed to.
Yeah, it's supposed to. But when I saw that, I said, "Oh, hell no, I'm not doing it." And one of my favorite things to do all year was this: the pocket pickle.
I like
Oh
that.
yeah, that one. Yeah.
Yeah, they've got them with it's an ornament, or you can do the one with just a hat, right? And I had this thing in my pocket, and when I went out to Mandeville High right before the playoffs, I walked up to one of the women, one of the moms out there, and I said, "You want to see my pocket pickle?" And she looked at me, and this was the one that in the beginning of the year, she was kind of getting nice with me, but I knew, stay away, So I told her that, and she started laughing, right? And I said, "Let me show you." And I picked it out of my pocket. She really fell out then, right? So she's engaged now. So the boyfriend walks up, or the fiance walks up, and he says hello to me. He introduced himself. "Shay, you see the pictures of my son and everything." And he says, "We're engaged," like that, right? So that right there pushed my button. I said, "Okay." So Eddie Vanison, one of the cops, he's standing over there eating, and he's putting his food down because he heard it. He's walking towards us. And I said, yeah. I said, I just came over here. I said, I didn't know you were coming over here to measure pickles. I said, but let me show you mine. And I took it out and went like this. And I said, nice seeing you. I turned around and walked off. Eddie spit his food all out. He said, I didn't know what was going on. He said, you could have dropped the mic on that one. I said, I did drop the mic on that one. But that stays in my pocket during football season.
Yeah. You, of course, you're asking women if you want to see my pocket pickle.
Only the moms. Only the moms.
Only the moms.
And they got some new single ones this year. You got to see them.
So Captain Joe, what with you only have one printer, correct?
One printer.
So are you have any plans with the volume of stuff that you've been printing? You put a lot of hours on that printer. You ever thinking about getting another one, maybe to have a little mini print farm, or what are your thoughts?
I'm thinking about it. I got to be honest.
What would be your next printer if you're thinking about it?
Well, I've got two right now. I got the Anchor Make still.
Okay.
But it's sitting over there, and if I want to do TPU, that's where I do it.
Well, they just lowered. I think what I saw, they just lowered at Bamboo Labs the H2D down to $799, which is only like $100 more than the P2S combo now.
I know. I did see that. Don't tell me that again. I don't want to hear that.
Now the H2D, let's hold on that for a second. Now, you might want to do some homework, because I'm hearing a lot of people having issues with that secondary nozzle. And so
the secondary nozzle, like you go to 0.2 or 0.4.
I think you have to stay at the same on both.
Okay, because I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I can't answer that. I think I heard somebody say in some other YouTube video I watched when they did a review on it that it has to be the same temperature and the same nozzle. I'm not sure that's 100% true, but it's interesting that they have that down to $799. It makes me wonder, though, if they drop that to $799, are they about to come out with something else?
It could be.
I mean, so something along the same lines of that. So they'll move some volume of that product right before they announce. What's that?
A P3S.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about a P3S this quickly, but maybe another H2D of some sort, which could be an H3D. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. Or just another type of 3D printer. That it's coming. Some manufacturers on the professional side now have printers that will mix colors, mix them at the nozzle, so you can get a range of thousands or tens of thousands of colors coming out the nozzle. So I don't know what that costs, but I'm sure it's tens of thousands of dollars, if not more. But it's coming for the home consumer. And I'm sure it's going to be here pretty soon. It's going to probably be a little expensive at first, of course, but as soon as it takes hold, they'll be mass producing them like we're seeing today with the ones we have. And then you'll be able to pretty much not have to worry about buying all these different filaments.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I'd look forward to that day. And now it might not come in the next 5 or 10 years, but I hope it does.
Well, it's like I want another one, but I don't have the room right now for it. That's the whole big problem. That's the issue. That's the real issue. Hopefully by the end of the year, I'll be moving. And I'm looking to buy something or build something. So it might be the end of next year. But I'm going to take my time and make sure I got what I want, because I'm not moving again. And then I'm definitely going to have at least a bedroom that's going to be my office. And then I could put like 2 or 3 printers in it. Because right now, the biggest thing I do with this, like I'm just starting to make money with it. And I'll print stuff for people like Lance. I'll send him something and he sends me money. I tell him, don't send me nothing. I'm sending it to you. Don't worry about it, But he'll pay me $20 or something for the filament. It covers the filament. So I'm not even worried about that. But the biggest thing I do is for the kids in the family around Easter, around Christmas, all the stuff that I could make for them, Yeah. And that's because it's personal. It's personal, and that's what makes it better. Like like I did one of these statues a while back, playing around with. That's a statue of me, And I gave one to my daughter, for my granddaughter, It's on her. She said as soon as she saw it, football, you know. So that's something she could look at and see football if I'm not around, you know,
Mhm.
now.
That's
And then
cool.
I made one of my dad, mom, and all the family, and gave it to my brother and my two sisters. So they got a little bust like that. It's about half that size up on it. And when I handed it to my sister here, she just fell out, you know, because I always do that to her. But she says, "That's mom and dad." I said, "Yeah, it's mom and dad." And she says, "That's Sissy." I said, "Yeah." You know, so she loved it, and she's got it right on the mantle where she sits, so she can see it all the time. And it's and like the kids, they love the fidget toys, and that's a big deal. The tulips like this, the tulips like this.
Yeah,
I
that's
think I
pretty
put in
cool.
9 of them this year and handed it to all the moms and in the family. Said, "Pick your color," you know, and I had different colors.
Yeah,
And the oldest got to pick first.
I printed some stuff like that for my wife for Valentine's Day and her
Mhm.
birthday. I've got a couple of things like that on, roses, and I mean they really look nice. They come out really at a distance you would think it was a real thing,
Yeah.
but they're really
But this
nice.
was this was the big hit this year. This A. I printed them half their size. This is the one for me, but it's just there's all kind of crap, you know.
Yeah, they got a whole bunch of those around now.
Oh,
Yep.
I'm telling you. And this one's got a design all over it. Got a design all over it.
Oh yeah, used the rainbow
And
filament.
and
Yeah, like
that's an actual print, one print.
one
It's
Yep,
print.
not put
right.
together.
It is.
Right. Now, I'll tell you the trick to it. When it comes out, it doesn't move. You take your
Right.
fingernail and go down to the bottom and go to each one and just you hear it click. So go click, click, click. Once you do that, do it at the top. Then you fool with it, then it'll come apart.
Hmm.
But it holds it together just enough.
Yeah, those are tight tolerance toys or fidgets or whatever. They're
Hmm.
very tight, and a little tiny bit will stick to little
It's not
places in them.
much.
Yep, not much, but it's just enough to keep things intact. Really, it's kind of helpful
Hmm.
in a lot of ways. And then when you break them free, it's just like my little spinner, things, filament, the little spinner, South Florida drone meetup fidget spinner I have made. It's 0.2 millimeter tolerance between the center part and the outer
Wow.
part. Point
Wow.
0.2 millimeter, and it sometimes I'll get a couple of them that come off the plate and you can't ever break them free, and I just throw those in the trash.
Now I
But
have a question on that one for you.
mm-hmm.
That's this one right here.
Yep,
Okay. Was this totally all your design?
yes, 100%.
That's what I figured.
There's some other ones out there.
I know the design, all the lettering, and everything, but I've looked all over for one similar to this, and I could not find it.
Yeah, I have not posted it. And a couple people have said on some, I've designed a whole bunch of things that I have not put up there on
Hmm.
out in the world, like Maker World or something like that. I probably could. I just haven't taken the time to do it. That right there, I'd have to make it a little more generic so people
You're right.
could modify it.
Yeah,
But I would like to. It's
yeah,
a
this
pretty
is this is
easy.
cool.
Yeah,
This
that
one's cool.
once it starts spinning, it gets a little freer and freer. Yeah, that I think I made the first one when I made for Ready Set Drone spin up. It was a blue one, similar to that, but a different
Hmm.
design. And then the first like 4 years ago, I made one of those for South Florida Drone
Yep,
Meetup. And
I've got the last three you put out, and
okay,
it's good to have friends in high places. As
thank you,
soon as he gets
Johnny.
back, I go over and I'll say, "What you got for me?"
Yeah, I sent him. I sent him back with a few things. I didn't even think about sending him. One's back for you. I didn't. I'm
Don't
sure
worry, he
he
gets
he
enough.
got some extra ones.
He gets extra ones.
Yeah. And I hope you got. Did you get a court coaster?
Uh,
He didn't give you a
which
court coaster.
no, the court guy, he gave me three of them.
Oh,
He
okay.
gave me three. I've got
I
one in
sent
the
it.
envelope. I'm going to send to Mark in England.
Okay,
But when
good deal.
I went to weigh that thing out today, and the price it says $67. That envelope. I said, "Oh
Wow,
hell no, we're gonna figure this one out.
wow,
It's no way at $67 to mail that
man, that's crazy how much they charge to get stuff
because it's
over
only
there.
like 3 ounces, 6x9 envelope.
Ugh,
That's no way. So I'll go to the post office and talk to them. Last time I sent one like that overseas, it only cost me like $3 or $4.
Oh, okay.
So that's something. The thing I'm using is not doing it right.
Yeah, something wrong with that.
Now I'll show you the one that I did, and Johnny told me, he said, I was showing it to him. I was wearing it actually when he saw it, and he says, you need to print you some earrings. I mean some high heels. That's a drone stud earring.
Oh wow.
So I had it in my ear over here because I got a little diamond stud here, and the story behind that. Because everybody says, you were a Marine, how are you wearing an earring? Well, I had a daughter that was about 3.5 years old, and she came to me one day and she said, Dad, why don't you have an earring? I said, men don't wear earrings. And she goes, Dad, she pulled me to her and she goes, I've seen them, they do now. And I said, they do? She goes, yeah, why don't you get one? I said, you want me? So we went to Walmart. I got one put in. She cried while I got it done. And I wore a diamond stud ever since. And I told her, don't ever think I don't love you. She's 31 years old. And it's like, I'll wear the earring for you.
Very cool.
I said, if I'm mad at you, I'll take it out.
Do they use alcohol?
Yeah.
It'd be a Walmart.
Oh, they did. It was actually easy. But when they started to put the hole in there, when they started to shoot it in, she started crying. I mean, she was crying. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna bleed. I said, it's gonna be fine. And they hit me with that thing, and I was going, oh, Jesus. It's okay, it's fine. You know. You know, see a Marine
get myself into.
Yeah, it didn't hurt for long, but it hurt.
Well, good thing it didn't become infected. I've seen some become infected. So, well.
Oh yeah.
Well, I haven't printed anything since coming back from South Florida. I've been, of course, working 12 hours a day. I got to go. I got to go in the office at 6 a.m. in the morning. Meet it's our 5-year sprinkler checkup, fire sprinkler checkup. So of course we have to do it before everybody gets there.
Yep.
So, loads of fun. Brad, this is our new night, Thursday night, 7 p.m.
Central Time.
Seems like it's a little bit smoother for me because I'm not flying in the door and immediately passing everything, including the dog.
Yep.
So,
yep.
Gave me a little bit of time this evening to get some things done.
Well, I will say we had a lot more viewers tonight than we did Monday a week ago. We were down to 2 when we made the announcement.
Yeah.
So,
you got a bunch of people there. You got TJ, you got all of them. You got Uncle Bill,
Joe, Bill's in here.
Yeah.
Josh is in here.
Everybody that's come. Yeah.
Rail, Itchy Sat, Mark in England with that expensive mail.
What?
Yeah, that's the one, Mark in England. That's Mark White.
Yeah, Mark White.
1100.
Okay.
Yeah, like I told him today, I said, you better wait because I got to find out how to get this a lot less than $67.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
yeah, we appreciate everybody coming. We're going to try to make sure this happens now. Johnny put out the new guide just before he came to South Florida. He had it reprinted and laminated, a whole bunch of them, brought them there. It does not specifically say every other week, but that's what we're going to be doing is Thursday every other week. Don't look for us next week. So we'll fill this slot 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central. Thursday, 2 weeks from tonight, we'll have another show, hopefully another special guest. And I just want to say thank you, Captain Joe, for joining us tonight.
Very happy to be here. Appreciate y'all letting me get here.
We'll have you again. We know you're full of it. So
I'm full of what?
I meant to say, okay, let me finish that. You're full of the 3D printing on your printer, but full of everything. So
okay,
we appreciate it. Yeah, we know you've got a lot of hours already on that printer. You haven't even had that thing a year yet, right?
10 months.
10 months.
2,075 hours.
Wow. You outdid my printer. The one that Philip had what, 2,400 hours, Philip, I think.
Like that.
And I think
I can't remember how many hours it has on now. I know I've printed some 16-hour deals and some 11-hour deals, and of course the 4-hour deals here and there.
Well,
So
other than,
I'll
yep,
tell you
go
one
ahead.
thing that did happen. Happened to me yesterday with the printer. I had an update on my computer first thing in the morning, and it messed me up with Filmora, and it messed me up with the printer. Filmora wouldn't even load in. I had to contact them. That's my editing software, and I have a perpetual. I paid for it 2 years, 3 years ago. We put patches in, did everything, wouldn't work. She says, "Oh, you have to upgrade. It's not going to work." And I said, "Well, I paid for it." Well, well, you have to upgrade. That's what they kept telling me. I said, "Well, what's the price?" She came in. I said, "I'm not paying it again." So they wound up letting me do it for like $35.
Mm.
It's a perpetual upgrade again. So it might last for 3 years. I'm happy with that. Went to print last night. And the printer wouldn't take anything, wouldn't purge. This went on for a half hour, and I kept trying to resend it, wouldn't do it. Tried on my phone, wouldn't do it. I had to do a factory restart. And then it still didn't want to bind. So I was really mad. And I knew it had to have something to do with the update. So I did my router and everything. And finally, all of a sudden, it just jumped in. When it grabbed it. And then it kept telling me it wasn't attaching to the internet, but I could see the IP address. So then I just turned my phone off. I tried to print from the phone and started printing again. I said, "Okay, thank you." An hour and a half. I played with
Wow.
that last night.
Well, I thought you were going to end that story, or at least part of that story. You were going to say you reverted it back to an old firmware,
No,
one back, so you didn't have to do that.
I
That's
have to do
good.
that. It worked. And I did a firmware on that yesterday too. That was the I don't know if that was it. So maybe the factory, maybe that wasn't what it was. It
Okay.
was just a combination. Perfect
Yeah.
storm.
yep.
Well, I'll ask the old age. What's the old question that all IT folks ask for help? For the help desk is it plugged in?
Yeah.
Is it turned on?
Time to reboot.
It's time to reboot. Right, right.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
need a hammer?
Yeah. Oh, I was thinking.
Well, we look forward. Everybody talks about you being the one that prints like mad all the time. We look forward to seeing all the stuff that you do, and from being on the live shows. I know you're on Paul Murray's show a lot, and I know y'all talk
Mhm.
about it from time to time. I'll pop in there just randomly some days while I'm riding down the road.
Right.
I don't say anything because I just don't want it to be dangerous typing in stuff. But yeah, I know you're around a lot, and you'll be printing a lot, and we'll look forward to seeing all the stuff that you have coming.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I watch it. I watch Paul's too, and I at work, and basically that's the reason why I don't say much in the chat either, because I can't start I can't start a full chat with anybody while I'm at work.
Mhm.
Yeah, I get that.
And
Hey, what? So
this so
everybody in the chat, and I see a few people are bowing out. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah,
yes,
we hope to continue this trend just like it was tonight, and hopefully it's informative for everybody. And I enjoy it. 3D printing is like one of my biggest passions right now, even over drones and other than my wife. My wife and being at home. I'm looking forward to that tomorrow. I'll be home by about mid-afternoon.
Brad,
And
she's not a
yes,
hobby. Okay, she's not a hobby. Do not consider your wife a hobby.
no, that's true. That's true. Maybe I misspoke. I misspoke on that one.
Okay, just going to make sure you clear on that.
Yeah, hopefully she's ready for me to come home.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, you've been gone for what, 2 weeks?
yeah, yeah,
Just
yeah. On 10, well, 11 days right now, I guess 12. It'll be
11
12.
days.
Well, actually, I left on Sunday before the event, so it's been like 12 days today, 13. Well,
Yeah.
11 days today, 12 tomorrow.
I was at Sloss when you left,
Yep,
and me and you were chatting on Sunday.
yep,
And
that's right.
so I was like, Sloss was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I'm hoping that Captain Joe, if I can ever get into Louisiana, I don't know if they'll ever need help down there, but hoping I can get around you and Hammond and Mandeville and back
Oh, definitely.
New Orleans. I've been there, plenty of times. I don't need to be there, but I would definitely visit you and visit Johnny and
Yeah, you get
try to.
this way, we'll find time to meet with you.
Yeah, absolutely, look forward
I'll
to
be at
that.
Johnny's tomorrow morning at 9 in the morning, 9:15.
Oh,
His
good.
granddaughter is throwing the javelin at Southeastern, her last time at the school,
That's what he told me. He
and
said
I'm gonna go
you're
out
going to
there
do
and
some.
get some pictures for him.
Yep. Are you doing some drone shots or just photography?
I'm gonna bring the camera.
Yeah, camera.
LHSA won't let you do anything around the
Ah,
sporting event with
yeah.
what you call it. So
Yeah, I
I'll go
guess that.
out there. I've got credentials for the Southeastern for the year, so I could just go in there. So it's not a big deal. And
Mm-hmm.
but where they're throwing it at, it's just like open stadium. You just go in and sit down, bring your chairs. So I'll get out there and get some good pictures of her tomorrow. And then tomorrow night I have a playoff game at Mandeville High at 6. And if they win tomorrow night, that's the rubber game. If they win tonight, so I'll catch them doing their celebration, throwing the water up in the air and everything.
Oh,
That'd be
yeah.
So
cool.
I'll be busy tomorrow morning, all day tomorrow. I'll be busy. Then I got somebody trying to buy my extra Neo 2 tomorrow
Ah,
sometime. So I might sell that tomorrow.
cool.
It's not me.
So I know. I'm glad you got that. I'm really glad you. When I
Man,
saw it, I was hoping you'd win it.
yeah, that was
I,
awesome.
look, I can't iterate again. And, this community is just strong community, and between Rodney winning that award and everything else, it brought tears to my eyes,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
it's good tears, but tears neither less. So, but Joe, man, appreciate it, really do.
I appreciate
We
y'all. Like I said, thanks for having me.
and
Thank you.
hey, this is another portion of this hobby, and we love drones and stuff, but we also want to talk about our 3D printing too, and this is basically what we want to do.
Yeah.
We are looking at other guests down the line, and also on top of that, an open mic type show one night. Bring anybody that wants to come in, come in.
Yeah.
Now that we get this new time slot, also we're not pushing Lloyd out the door either. So it's really working out. Tonight it seems like it's working out well.
Mm-hmm.
Brad may not be able to make some of them, and you never know. There may be a few out there that I won't be able to make.
Right.
We're trying to figure that out right now. We're trying to come up with a system on that.
We definitely want to try to be consistent and make it so that people know that we're going to be there and not wonder. When I've had people text me when Al Duran and I and Jenna C were doing shows, every once in a while those wouldn't happen, and then consistency is the name of the game when it comes to these shows in the community. Because if you don't do that, then you can't rely on somebody being on, or tonight. If we don't do it in 2 weeks, then we'll start losing people coming to look. So we're going to try to be a lot more consistent with that. How the format goes, we don't know. I mean, we want to have a mixture of 3D printing and drones. Drones are what tie this community together the most, but 3D printing is becoming a huge part of it. So everybody buying 3D printers now. I've jokingly said a number of times I was like the number one person to have a 3D printer back 10 11 years ago now, but I think there were some folks that might have had some that are in the community, but I was about the only one printing 10 11 years ago, and that was with the little Ender 3, and that was such a pain in the ass, but I learned a lot. I learned a whole lot with that printer. But anyway, enough said. Look forward to
Johnny said he
doing.
likes my shirt. That's because he put this emblem on it, wherever it's at right there, yesterday.
No,
When I was up there yesterday, I brought the 2 shirts, and he had my sticker, so he just ironed them on,
Oh, okay.
with his deal.
That's cool.
Like,
Well, all right.
speaking of which,
Yep.
Yeah.
What do you got? What do you
I
got?
Yeah.
Oh, Johnny Drumfly. Yep. All of my shirts are stuffed in a tub somewhere in the back of my truck. So I only got a couple this year. I got one from Rodney. I think I got one from Johnny. I got one. I can't remember. A couple other ones. Maybe Alex. And yeah, maybe Alex. I don't know. I got to pull them all out and figure out what I got. Yeah, Johnny, I am old.
that's because he's been That's because he's been on the road for all this time.
I'm old and I'm forgetful quite a bit.
Yep.
I'm very forgetful. All right,
You
again,
know,
thank you, Captain Joe. We're right at the top of the hour, we're past it now. I know we're not stepping on anybody, but I like to try to keep it to an hour. I know Philip, you
let's
kind of
be
feel the same way.
consistent about it. We
Yep, be
will.
consistent. And it's 9 o'clock for me, or 9:04, and I'm about ready to stretch after this long day of driving. Got
Yep.
6 more hours tomorrow, very easy, hopefully. And knock on wood, traffic on Interstate 95 from here home. But y'all take care, and everybody in the chat, thank you for stopping by, and we'll see you again
Y'all,
in 2 weeks.
See y'all.
we'll see y'all later.